Hello everyone, let's try this out. This is a completely new format. I announced this in the news video last week. I was proposing that at the end of every month I give you a rundown of all the books that I have had my hands on over the month. And I think that going forward it would be nice if I could do this on the last Sunday of every month and release that to members only, and then release it to the general public on the first Sunday of the following month. I think that could possibly work. We'll see how that goes. But failing that this month, because I've just had a lot going on, I think that I'm just going to release this as a general release as soon as I finish editing it. And here's a little pile of books there that I'd like to review for you, or should I say to just give you a look at, right? Now, if I get my phone's camera working at the same time, I should be able to give you some close-ups. Well, the first book that I'm going to show you is actually two books, right, by David Smith. The first one is Blood of Space, and it's the 7th book in the Psycho-Etheric Alchemy series, the 7th and final book, actually. And this book essentially looks back on the previous 6 books. And yeah, it's just like a synthesis of the previous 6 books. It's still using the artwork from the Lightning Flash of Aleph series, and it's got this really nice bite-size format. It looks really good, really nice. Okay, so that's Blood of Space, completing the Psycho-Etheric Alchemy series. Then the next one is the Ibri Gate. Now, the Ibri Gate is a book that I've talked about in the news video, actually, and it's not really part of a series, it's its own thing. Essentially, David Smith has created a glyph which he dissects in this book through a series of contemplations. So those of you who enjoyed the 32 keys, I think you're going to enjoy this one as well. I'll let you discover this at your leisure. Go. As usual, you know, there's contemplations, and then there's thoughts, and then there's exercises, right? Very cool stuff, very beautiful. The Ibri Gate. There we go. Next, we've got Don't Forget to Live. This is a translation of the final work by Pierre Hadot, who died a couple of years after writing this one, Don't Forget to Live, Goethe and the Tradition of Spiritual Exercises. So Pierre Hadot wrote this in 2008. This is very much a print-on-demand type book. Not type book, I'm pretty sure this is print-on-demand, full stop. It's got a waxy cover to it. You know, it's fine, it's perfectly serviceable. I think that if you can get this as a Kindle edition, then that's probably the right way to go about it. The idea is that Pierre Hadot looks into some actual tangible exercises, that Goethe was into spiritual exercises, and he investigates them and he proposes them as a way ahead, as a path in itself. I haven't got round to reading this one. It does look very interesting. It's the reason I bought it in the first place, right? But yeah, as I say, I haven't managed to pick it up yet. Hopefully a look at that table of contents will give you an idea of what we're talking about. It's pretty cool. And let me just give you an idea of the style of writing, right? If I can just open a couple of pages there for you, you'll get an idea of whether this is suitable for what you're looking for. There we go. Next, we've got The Way of the Will by David Shoemaker. And David Shoemaker wrote Living Thelema, one of the first books on magic that I actually read. And this is literally just out. And David Shoemaker is sharing some of his own experiences and drawing on those experiences to give you an idea of thelemic life, thelemic processes, and what thelema can do for you, essentially. It's all written in his very approachable style. He's giving you some personal insights, some just through his own experiences. He's talking about his own meeting with his holy guardian angel and how that might be relevant to you. I think it's a lovely book. I'm sure it'll become just as classic as his previous books. Splendid, splendid stuff. There we go. That's The Way of the Will. Next, we've got Hellenic Tantra. And folks, this really has been my read of the month. I've been enjoying this so much. Gregory Shaw is talking about theurgic Platonism of Iamblichus. And in the book, he suggests that while the West has always considered theurgy to be the joining of the soul upwards towards divinity, he actually suggests here that Iamblichus may have intended, on the contrary, that theurgy should be the descent of divinity within us. And I really like this idea, and it's so well argued. I'm a big fan of what he's saying here. He's essentially drawing parallels between Indian Tantra and the Theurgy of Iamblichus. It's very compelling stuff, folks, and it's written so nicely. It's so engaging. It's so exciting. I found myself unable to put the book down, essentially. I've really enjoyed this. I think this is going to be one of my books of the year. There's, in fact, I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of my top 10. Of course, this is coming on the back of Theurgy and the Soul, Neoplatonism of Iamblichus. Now, this I have not opened yet. It's the book that came before Hellenic Tantra. So this was a book that literally came out just a few months earlier, I think. Gregory Shaw writing Theurgy and the Soul, the Neoplatonism of Iamblichus, second edition, as you can see right there. I'll give you an idea of the table of contents. It's a very nice paperback, by the way. Yep, there's nothing cheap about the paper. I'm likely to put a plastic cover on these and keep them for a very long time. Okay, so here's a big one. It's the complete Encyclopedia of Egyptian Deities by Tamara L. Suda, PhD. So I bought this one directly from the author, and it's the deluxe edition. There are just a few copies that have been made available. There may still be some. I'll leave a link in the description if there are. You can see that it's a really nice gilded deluxe edition. It is perfect bound, right? So that means that the pages are glued to the spine, but it opens up absolutely fine, very nicely. You can see, there we go. Just got to be a little bit careful. You can see there are no signatures there. The pages are glued directly to the spine, but it's very nice. It's very nice quality, folks. You know, as perfect bound books go, you can see that's going to last. It's not cheap, perfect bound, as it were. Right, so that's the deluxe edition, and literally the day after I received this, I got another parcel in the mail. I was thinking, that's odd, I'm not really expecting anything. And it was a parcel from Llewellyn Books, and it's the standard edition. And you can see that it's essentially the same book, just without the gilded edges and without the slipcase. And it's lovely. Look how nice that is with the rounded corners there. All right, I'll give you a close look down here. So we're looking at, quite a large volume. We're looking at around 900 pages. And it's all coloured on the inside, all colour illustrations. And every deity is covered. You can see the different rubrics. Very thorough look into each of the deities of ancient Egypt. Fascinating stuff. Cult centers, holidays, festivals, theophanies, syncretisms, aspects, modern worship for each one, right? Well, whenever it makes sense to, of course, right? depiction, or whenever the information is known, naturally. There we go. Yeah, extraordinary stuff. Really, really beautiful. Yeah, that's really one to keep. Beautiful. Really, really nice. Nice end papers, and this is what it looks like under the dust cover. I'm sure many people will probably want to ditch the dust cover, but I'm not a dust cover snob. You know me. I actually don't mind a nice dust cover. If the book underneath is very beautiful, like this one is, and it's okay to get rid of it, in my opinion. It's always okay to get rid of it if you want to get rid of it. But I'm going to be keeping the dust cover on this one. Actually, this is probably the one that I'm going to be keeping. This one might end up at the local library. But thank you very much to Llewellyn for sending this one to me. It was very thoughtful of you. Thank you. Now, along with this one, Llewellyn actually sent me a copy of Donald Tyson's new book, Incantations and Enchantments, The Power of the Voice and the Breath in Magic. Now you'll be able to see that this is the uncorrected proof for limited distribution. I'm not sure this one is even out yet, but my goodness, folks, this is so exciting. Let me give you an idea. So Donald Tyson's version of the 3 books of occult philosophy and even the 4th book of occult philosophy were the only versions on the market until very recently. And he's really been an essential part of the occult revival of the 2000s. Right, even 1990s. Yeah, so 2000s. There we go. Let's see the 4th book. The 4th book. Do we have 1, 2, and 3? There's 1, 2, and 3 of tarot. It's probably here. I'm just not seeing it. Okay. Anyway, you get the general idea. There's some really, really good stuff. In fact, Kinesic Magic is one of the books that I have recommended in the past. It's a really, really good one. But in this book, he's talking about breath and how essential breath is in magic, or at least the place that breath has in magic, and how it can be used to enhance your magic. How great is that? How perfect is that? Really, really nice table of contents. You'll be able to see some fascinating topics being covered. And, you know, he knows what he's talking about, and he presents it in a really nice style. I'll just open a few pages there for you so you can pause on the screen and get an idea of his writing style. Chanting, yeah, really, really cool stuff. Really, really nice. Again, it's paperback, quite basic paperback. Certainly not the bad kind of paperback. This is Llewellyn's standard paper stock. It's good. Yep, very, very nice. That's Incantations and Enchantments, The Power of the Voice and the Breath in Magic. Really exciting stuff. Okay, next I've got a couple of books that I wanted to show you. I've talked about these in the past. Esbeth Barthold from Helion Press recommended these to me back in December as the fiction books that were selling best in her new shop in Yorkshire. And it's Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, which I just finished reading to my son, although I admit that I was kind of reading it to my wife and to myself, and my son happened to be in the same room, and he actually enjoyed it very much as well, so that's really nice. But I can finally attest to how enjoyable this has actually been, and we've actually enjoyed it so much, in fact, that we've started reading the second one, The Map of the Other Lands. Now, these are the American hardcover editions. The British hardcover editions, in my opinion, aren't as pretty. So that's why I've paid a little bit more to import the US versions. They're quite pretty, right? They're quite nice. Yeah, that's what the spines look like. If you like turn of the century romance, then this is kind of that, just with fairies, like the dangerous sort of fairies. That's pretty much it. that's about it, really. If you can think of Jane Austen with dangerous fairies, there you go. That's that covers covers these. Really enjoyable. If you like slow burning, very enjoyable prose. And the way we enjoyed that kind of informed my next and final book, the Fairies, Elves and Goblins, the Old Stories. So this is a book of fairy tales with a couple of pages inserted to introduce the concepts of fairies as actual entities, right? So every time you see a title with the capital letters, that's like a short 1 or 2 page essay on that topic, followed by a few traditional fairy tales on that topic. Really quite nice. The fairy tales are, you know, they're not common fairy tales. They're not fairy tales that I knew. They're very enjoyable. They have the flair of authenticity. But I'd really say that it is the fairy tales themselves that are the star of this book. You've got some quite nice illustrations, you know, Arthur Rackham, the usual. And then those little essays, I'd say they're interesting, but very basic. So here's an example of one of those essays here, the sightings. Get a general idea. There's a nice one at the end about spells. Spell to actually acquire a fairy, I think. Over here. Spells, there we go. Spells to call up fairies and see their enchantments. So that's quite a nice one right there. And that's it from me for this month. Thank you so much for checking out my new style of reviews. I'll take a little second to say thank you to the members, all the level 3 members whose names you can see scrolling up on the left-hand side over here, and to all the level Infinity members, David Venturini, Caitlin Kopok, Aritz Murueta Ramos, Howard Wolf, Linda Hendricks, Stephen Hunter, Susanna Red Elves, and Thomas. Thank you so much for your support. If you are watching this video and you'd like to support the channel, then head over to Patreon, Foolish Fish on Patreon. I'll leave a link in the pinned comment down below as well as in the description. If you're interested in buying any of the books that you've seen today, then I've got links in the description as well. Some of those links are Amazon associate links, and I do get a little commission if you click on those and then proceed to actually buy the book. In fact, I'll get a little commission on anything that's in your basket if you go ahead and buy the basket if you arrived onto Amazon through one of my links. And that really helps as well, so thank you so much to everyone who takes the time and trouble to do that. For now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the end of May for another one of these Foolish Fish monthly overview videos. I hope you like the new format. See you very soon with another one. See you soon. Bye.